Welcome at the USIL Career Day 2025. It is the second edition of the online event organized by the University of Silesia in Katowice for foreign researchers and academics and for all those who are interested in work at the University of Silesia. Today's event is organized as a part of Welcome to Us project, financed by the National Agency of Academic Exchange as a part of Welcome to Us 2022 program. If you're interested in our university and in work in Poland, if you're wondering how it is to work at the University of Silesia in Katowice, whether it is the right place for you, whether some interesting scientific projects are realized at our university, and generally how it feels and how it is to work with us, then you're in the right place. In a minute, I will start 5 interviews with our employees who will tell you about working conditions, about atmosphere at our university, and about different forms of support offered by the University of Silesia to our foreign employees. So again, welcome to all of you, all those who watch us live, as well as those who will watch this recording at some later date. We will start in the minute, so stay with us.
The University of Silesia is the largest Silesian public university. It was founded in 1968 and is located in 4 cities. At the university, we observe, learn, and boldly look in the future. With a staff of almost 3,000 people, we change our reality. Every year, we employ academic teachers and researchers from different countries and various cultures. We would like all new employees to feel that at the university they are a part of the team working together to reach common goals regardless of their experience or job position. We conduct interviews with candidates by using modern online tools. It doesn't matter you are in New York or Beijing, we will adjust to your time zone. The team of the University of Silesia provides help and support on each stage of the employment process, from the recruitment till signing the contract. Thinking about the future, development and support, we have created the first welcome point for foreign employees in Silesia. Its aim is to provide any information and advice to the employees and candidates for work at the University of Silesia.
Witamy!
Welcome.
Bienvenidos.
Добро пожаловать!
Willkommen!
Üdvözöljük.
Łaskawo prosimo. 欢迎!
Zapraszamy.
Welcome again. My first guest is Dimitrios Skondras, PhD, from the Faculty of Science and Technology. Hello, and thank you for joining us today on USIL Career Day.
Hello, Agata. My pleasure.
Okay, so maybe we will start from the question about yourself. Tell us a few words about yourself and about your area of scientific expertise. What is your discipline, your area of your scientific work?
Okay, first of all, I was born in Greece and grew up in Athens, in the capital. So I studied there. I studied there mechanical engineering as a graduate, and there I got my master in mechanical engineering, which was about actually bioinspired surfaces regarding the tribology with finite element analysis was my diploma thesis. And then I continued also there at the National Technical University of Athens doing my PhD, which was on electrical discharge machining of metallic surfaces in order to make them acquire hydrophobic properties, again driven by bioinspired patterns. And right now I'm doing my postdoc here in the thermodynamics team under Professor Horanzowski in the area of thermal energy storage. So it's about material synthesis. We're making phase change materials that have also a matrix that are called composite phase change materials, which can store thermal energy storage. Also, as a next step, we are nano-enhancing them. So, in order to enhance more their thermal properties, such as thermal conductivity or their phase change transitions. So right now, the main concept and the main area of expertise is the thermal energy storage.
Oh, sounds interesting and very practical. So that is, that is fantastic. And tell me, what are your biggest inspirations for your scientific work? How did your fascination with your scientific area started? Did you know it from the very early age, what you will work in?
Yes and no. I would say before I went to university, I'd like to do many stuff when I was gonna grow up, but eventually mechanical engineering was the field that I started. Always, however, and that is also reflected in my first thesis, diploma and PhD. I was driven by bio-inspiration. I liked how nature was working. I liked to see what millions of years of evolution can offer us to study and to replicate systems that are working great in nature into science and engineering solutions. So this was one of the main inspirations for me, and another constant inspiration that is also driven by the era that we are living, the great need of sustainability. We need to look at sustainable solutions in actually everything that we're gonna be researching. So this is how this subject fits to my current postdoc subject, which is about thermal energy storage, because as we know, thermal energy actually is getting wasted every day in various kinds of ways. So if we really want to help society, one of the ways is actually to waste less energy, to waste less resources, and also to use materials that are environmentally friendly. So I would say these two main domains are what drives me to study and research and go into finding solutions about that.
Yeah, so you will help the planet and help the society. That really sounds like a great job.
That's always the biggest inspiration for me.
Oh, it's fantastic to hear it. Choosing the place of life and career is a very difficult decision, and probably you took into consideration many different factors. Tell me what unique aspects of our university and of our country decided that you came here to pursue your career and your scientific research.
First of all, about the country. We all know that Poland is a very rapid developing country. It's a country also that invests much in research, in solid research and high impact research. So, and it's also a very beautiful country. But the most important thing is that getting to know the people. When I first met the people in the thermodynamics team, all my present colleagues also, I saw that they were doing really high impact research with great infrastructures. So I didn't think of it much when I saw that there was an opportunity to work there and do my postdoc. I just applied and hopefully I'm now working there.
So your inspiration and the level, so to speak, of research of this research group was the main driving force.
Yeah, it was very high impact, and I was lucky that I got to know, first of all, Mr. Anagnostopoulos, and after that to see what was their work and what was their field, which for me, energy storage, as I said before, it's one of the most important and serious topics that someone can work on.
So we can also say that one of the members of your team also helped you, because thanks to his description and contact with him, you could also know firsthand how it is to work at our university. Also, our viewers don't know it, but your team is one of more international research teams at our university, and also some of its members were our guests also at USIL Career Day in a previous edition. So I'm very glad to hear that, and also happy that you joined. And if you were to think about some new challenges that you encountered after coming to Poland, were there new opportunities and challenges connected with this decision to come here to Poland, to our university?
Of course there were. The journey starts a little bit earlier, actually, because I first came here to Poland actually by having a traineeship in the AGH University in Krakow. So starting to finish my PhD. So actually from there we get to know with Mr. Anastopoulos. So during that period I get to know this what the scientific topic of this team was here in Katowice. So I was fascinated with that, and actually before I finishing my PhD I already knew what I was going to do after. Of course this is an opportunity, because for me it's always important to get to new scientific fields. Of course, considering my background, this was like a big step, because the subject can be somehow different, so this is a challenge, but I like this challenge. I like to continuously researching about new stuff and combining things together. For me this is the most interesting thing, but it can be also challenging because you constantly have to learn and understand new things and processes. You can never rest. I like to say, okay, I know everything. If you are in the same field, maybe after some time you are more confident. So you have to search for this confidence when this is a challenge, when you are changing topics and trying new things.
Oh, so it is like continuous journey. If you say you never know for sure that now I know everything, I keep searching further. That sounds fascinating, although sometimes probably tiring, but
It can be.
if it is inspiring for you, that is fantastic. And also listening to how your passion has brought you here, because there are no, everything happens for a reason. So what you're telling me about is that following your passion brought you here, and you're happy to continue your research. Whoa. Okay. And if you were to compare the academic environment in Poland and in other countries you worked in your home country, do you see any differences that are significant?
First of all, my only different working environment was before I came here in Greece. I would say there are of course many differences. I can say that here the academic environment is more warm, is more calm. It transmits a calmness that for me is very important. When you have constant thinking and work to do, you want to have a peaceful environment, but also stimulating always. And this has also to do with our team, because all of my colleagues are except great scientists, they are also great people, so this helps a lot. And maybe another thing is that in general the way that the university works and the infrastructure is always in the side of helping. So it's always in the side to solve or have less problems during the process. So this for me it's very important, especially when you are doing a work that concentration is one of the most important things. So you want actually to be able to concentrate. And also apart from that, the scientific equipment in our group and also in other groups that we are collaborating, I find it very high quality, and this is also very important because according to my consideration, I would say that when you have high quality equipment, then you can do high quality experience and actually do more important in terms of practical things, which was also one of my drives. That I want in the end something practical. So when you have the actual equipment, the high quality equipment, and you can use it, then this problem is solved. You can go further.
So there are no obstacles. You can simply continue your research and pursue your scientific experiments, if I can say so.
Of course.
You appreciated that the conditions just allow you to do that.
Exactly.
So it's great to hear that. And how would you rate academic culture if you compare Poland to Greece? Did you notice any unique traditions in Poland? Something that was very, very different from Greece?
I wouldn't say a big difference, but one thing that I really see here is that in general, inside the academic culture, there is much respect. Not in a way of overdoing, but there is a certain respect and in general, I would say easy to communicate. And for me, this is very important also while you're doing your work. And as I said, also the culture is also respectful and rewarding also. So it's more fair, let's say.
I'm glad to hear that because, well, also when you hear what you're doing on the daily basis, it sounds interesting, and it also you show respect automatically because you're doing great things. But it's great to hear that you feel it this way. And when we're talking about culture, there might be some surprising things for you in Poland. Although, Greece is not that far, but still this is a different culture. Did you have any surprises that were really, really astonishing for you during your stay? Positive or negative? Just anything.
For me, okay, of course, the cultures are not like totally different. Of course, there are many common things. In general, I would say that people are more introvert and but also very polite. They are not so high level of speaking and doing everything like in Greece, which for me, of course, I'm used to more high levels, but for me it's also, as I said before, also this contributes also to the calmness that and also related to the work. This for sure is a positive thing, is a positive surprise that you can actually see that you can be more concentrated because of that. Of course, another surprise, I knew that, but until you see it with your eyes, it's that Poland is a very beautiful country. I like very much the landscapes. I also personally like very much the rivers, the lakes, all this. It's also very, very nice things to see, and I'm sure that there are many more to see. Concerning negative things, I would say only one. It's the weather. Because I'm coming from the south of Europe, and for me it's difficult to adapt with a very cold winters. But in the end, I think I will adapt to that.
Yeah, I was about to ask you that if you don't miss the sun, because we live here, all our lives, majority of us, and we always lack sun, and maybe that's what gives you more energy in your home country. But yeah,
the sun is always something important, but now there are sunny days also. I think they started.
It's spring, so. Also, the weather becomes hotter and hotter here, especially summer. So I hope we will all adapt, and I hope it will be also comfortable for you soon. Okay, so I have just one more question for you, because you're working here for some time, and maybe you have some advice for people who consider coming to Poland, to the University of Silesia, to pursue their research. Do you think there are some skills or personal traits that would make it easier for them, or to adapt here, or that would be especially important? Just any advice that you could have for such people?
First of all, for anyone that considers coming to work as a researcher in Poland, they have to know that it is a country that really wants researchers and supports the research. So this, for me, is very important to know for somebody when wants to choose where they will continue. And as I said before, it's a fair system with good infrastructure that is also rewarding. So this, as a combination, someone just needs to have the passion to explore new areas that they want. They will for sure find something, at least in the field that maybe I know better about, the physical, chemical sciences or engineering. I know that there are many research going on that fields, and that they also have to know that there are also many opportunities for short, medium or longer term national scientific projects that they can apply, and with various kinds of subjects. So just to have the appetite to really be in the research. Also, they have to know that it's easy to adapt. For me, it was easy to adapt, maybe except the weather, but this depends from where everybody's coming from. So I would say just that, the willingness to explore new things. Also here with all the great work that you have done with the welcome point, I think for every foreigner, it's not just easy to adapt, but it's also many activities and things that you can really blend in the society, and this for me is very important. Apart from that, okay, just maybe to brush up their English, because I think Polish is difficult to learn, so it might take some months.
Yes, with Polish, of course, we give this opportunity to learn Polish as long as you work. But I understand and I can imagine that our language is not the easiest one. Okay, however, we are always very glad that we can have also scientists, the best scientists from different countries coming to us. And also it is a pleasure for us to meet you and also to talk to you about your research, which is fascinating, and I'm always listening to it with great pleasure. So I'm also very grateful for you that you agreed to come here to share your passion and your fascinating research, not only with me, but with potential candidates to work at the University of Silesia, to people who are interested in our university. And I hope many of them will apply and will check our job offers or come here, for example, as stipends of National Agency of Academic Exchange. Thank you very much for your time, for sharing your experience. It was a pleasure.
Thank you very much too for the opportunity.
Okay, so now we will have a short break, and then I will talk to our next guest. So stay with us. See you in a few minutes.
One day our rector announced the Rector's Hours, so my Polish friend Maria and I took a little tour through the city. We decided to visit the Katowice culture zone located next to the university. We started our tour from Spodek, which literally means a flying saucer, the arena of sports events and concerts. Next to it there is the International Congress Center, which hosts many important meetings and conferences and even a science festival. Then we went towards the modern building of the Polish National Radio Symphony Orchestra and the Silesian Museum with a high mine shaft. Maria told me that there used to be the Katowice mine in this area. In the past, Silesia was an industrial region based on coal extraction. But now, mines and industrial buildings have gained new functions, becoming cultural zones, shopping centers, and modern office spaces. By the way, I learned that the complicated and difficult history also shaped the local language. The accents are slightly different and some words differ from Polish because they are of German origin. I have also learned that a popular greeting in Silesia is Szczęść Boże, which literally means God bless, just like a bit the German Grüß Gott. After a short sightseeing, we went to a cafe. I noticed that Maria took off her hat. I asked her why. She told me that in Poland you shouldn't have any headgear in the interiors. This applies not only to churches and museums, but also to the university and to cafes. We sat at one of the tables. Maria recommended me to try the lemon spajza, traditional Silesian dessert. I was very curious about it because its name sounded a bit German. While we were waiting for our order, my colleague Jan joined us and asked about my travel to Poland. Most of all, I was impressed that the Silesian region was so modern and connected. This is thanks to the two nearby airports and the motorway network. But then, walking down the street, I was surprised that the people seemed to be very serious. In my country, people say hi when I meet them. I tried to smile at one lady passing me with bags, but she looked at me suspiciously. Jan laughed and explained that in Poland you greet only people you know. And this serious look doesn't mean that they are sad or that they don't like you. But when you know them a bit better, you find out that they are actually very warm and friendly. The spajza was delicious. Jan had to go, so we asked for the bill. I didn't have the change, so I handed the waiter 50 zloty, saying thank you. I was waiting for my change, but the waiter didn't come back. Maria saw my puzzled expression and told me that in this situation, when we say thank you, it is understood that the waiter can take the rest as a tip. Strange, but now everything was clear. Maria took her hat and we continued exploring Katowice. I have the impression that many surprises still await me here. And I'm not talking only about beautiful ornate tenement houses or post-industrial monuments, but I'm ready for this adventure.
Welcome back at the USIL Career Day 2025. In a minute, I will welcome my next guest. Now we will talk with Ryan Lee Densson, PhD, from the Faculty of Humanities of the University of Silesia. Welcome and thank you for accepting our invitation.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
Okay, so maybe at first tell us a few words about yourself and about your work. Mm-hmm. What is your area of expertise? What does your research focuses on?
Mm-hmm. So, I'm from America originally, but I did my PhD and my master's degrees in the UK at the University of Exeter. And so originally I have a PhD in classics and ancient history. So I specialized at first in Greco-Roman antiquity. And my research specifically concerns what I call the ancient imagination, sort of how they perceive the world around them, especially in terms of folklore, the supernatural, monsters, that sort of thing. And so my PhD itself focused a lot on sea monsters in the ancient world. So, ancient Greece and ancient Rome are obviously very sea-adjacent societies, being, as Plato called it, the ancient Greeks were essentially like frogs gathered around a pond. They're so connected with the sea. So, as you can imagine, sea monsters are a fairly frequent topic for them and the later Romans as well. So, my PhD thesis, basically looked at those sorts of ideas in terms of how they conceptualize these things, what sorts of narratives and folklore they like to tell about, essentially this body of water that was so close to their society. But the interesting thing about talking about the marine world in the ancient world is that you have to remember this is before diving technologies and things like that. So the sea is really a hidden realm. You can't get down deep into the sea without submarines and things like that. So it inspires a lot of fear and trepidation. So that's one area of my research, of looking at monsters like that sort of thing. I do others with sirens and harpies and the phoenix as well, mythical animals, sorts of stuff. And broadly, a lot of my other research concerns essentially ideas about the natural world itself. And this is where I've come here for an NCN project. The NCN, essentially the Polish Research Council, it's funded by them on these ideas of Byzantine conceptions of nature. So talking a bit later period, the Byzantine Empire, this sort of eastern half of the Roman Empire that survived, became very Christianized, how they conceptualized nature and things like that. So it is connected to a lot of my previous environmental research, but taking a bit of a different direction. So my main thing here, my part of the project, is looking at this genre called hexamera, which in Greek means essentially 6 days, and it's referring to the 6-day creation narrative. So basically studying how the Byzantines, the Christians of that society, considered the book of Genesis in terms of that narrative and what it reveals about their own views towards nature. That's mainly what I do is studying cultural imaginations in both Greco-Roman and Byzantine worlds, with a sort of specific focus on the supernatural and environments like that.
It's great because it sounds like your research concerns both imagined things and
Mm-hmm.
all the things that people imagined are there in the sea and around them, and some part of real world and the way they thought about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's a great way to put it too, because we sometimes speak of the human imagination as this sort of force of boundless possibilities and stuff like that, but it's not always quite true, because your imagination is influenced and sometimes constrained by the world that you live in, this cultural forces that you're influenced by. So, in Greece and Rome, obviously being a very sea-adjacent society, that's why sea monsters were so central to them. More landlocked cultures obviously develop different folklore and stuff like that. So it is, and as I've said, it's living in a pre-modern society where they don't have the same technology, definitely influences it in a lot of ways. So even though I'm not making the argument that sea monsters or anything are real, studying those imaginative forces can tell you a lot about how they do perceive the real world.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes, and about themselves also, right? The
exactly.
way they thought. Whoa, so sounds like a fairy tale, but a real fairy tale to some extent.
Yeah.
what are your biggest inspirations for your scientific work? How did your passion for that topic start? Did you know from the very beginning that you're going to do your research in that area, that you're going to work with such interesting things?
I think it really, I did my bachelor's in the U.S. in history originally, and I would have said, I love history, and I still do, but as a lot of people, I was interested in history, not so much of recounting events and dates and stuff like that, but I was really more interested in storytelling at the end of the day, and that's how I kind of gravitated more towards in this sort of folklore narrative type direction. So I would still say, I would say I'm a cultural historian, these days, but it's a bit of a difference from historians in the normal sense of I don't study real events, but I study the narratives, the literature, things like that do influence how they see the world. So yes, storytelling I think is the big inspiration there, and not just the stories themselves, but how people receive them, like I said, with the Genesis narrative and things like that, and how they take that into real life as well.
And how it probably influences now, because probably some of those views are in a way embedded in our culture. Am I right?
Yes, exactly. It's especially with the example of the Genesis narrative, it's been read for thousands of years pretty much, and it's still ongoing. Each culture has a different take on it, so you can do a lot by seeing the differences as well and how they perceive stories like that.
Storytelling and history, it sounds like great combination. Choosing the place of your work and where to pursue your career, it's not an easy decision, and you probably consider it for some time. You mentioned also studying in England. So what made you choose Poland and our university? Is it somehow unique, interesting? Why did you decide to come here?
I think mainly for that NCN project I mentioned on Byzantine conceptions of nature, but also, more generally, there seems to be a lot more funding for the humanities in Poland and a lot more going on collaboratively, both within Poland and internationally with other European countries and European universities as well. So, the humanities and a lot of the Anglophone, you can still get funding for different projects in the UK and stuff, but a lot of the funding tends to go more towards STEM type research, so it's not quite as well funded in the humanities there as it is here these days. So that definitely helps, and a lot of different international collaboration as well too. I've met a lot of different scholars in just under the year I've been here that I probably wouldn't have met otherwise, because I think Poland, being so centrally located, has much more of an emphasis than you would get in North America or in the UK on international collaborations like that. So it's incredibly helpful as a researcher to be able to meet more people and do more collaborative works like that, and especially in a field, a very humanities-based field like that, where we don't, we all have our own specializations and stuff, and we don't always, just stick to our own confines, but you meet all sorts of interesting people that are working on periods and cultures that you don't know a lot about. So, Poland, yes, definitely for the collaboration as well. And Katowice, too, is great as a city as well. I come from a very rural town, so Katowice is, it's a city, but not quite a big city like London or Warsaw. So I find it very nice as a city with still a decent amount going on, but not the big sort of oppressive type of cities it's just too busy and too hectic. So, Poland in general for the humanities, and Katowice and this university for a nice living experience, because I'm living right in the center of town, just about 10 minutes walk from the university, which is, again, another thing that's very new and exciting to me coming from North America, which is, just not possible in those bigger cities like that.
Yes, you need to drive a lot, from what I heard. So,
yes.
Yeah, and Katowice is changing recently, so I need to agree with you that it's modern, but still there are some cozy places where you can just work. So that is, that's understandable. And how has working in Poland affected your career? Did any new challenges and new opportunities appear for you, apart from what you're saying, the general possibility to work in your field?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely had a lot of opportunities, kind of what I've said, in terms of meeting new people, but also changing and getting into new areas of research as well. So, I mean, as I said, my PhD was really in Greco-Roman antiquity, and I'm sort of gravitating further and further into this Byzantine period. I would have said, I mean, previously I did a lot of work in what's called late antiquity, this period from about, the 4th to the 6th century CE, but I'm beginning to be even more interested in this sort of what we call the Middle Byzantine period, some of the centuries after that up until about 1204, because it's very different from what you see in this period of late antiquity or early Byzantine period that's kind of an in-between, between the pagan Greco-Roman world and the Christian Byzantium. Once you start getting into these later periods, the old pagan, the old Greco-Roman past, it doesn't disappear entirely, but it begins to take on a different outlook into this more Christianized society. So it's offered me the opportunity to expand my research in a new direction like that, because we have Byzantine colleagues here that are a bit more well-versed in that later period that I'm learning a lot from. And I do get to, go to different research conferences and stuff in that Byzantine direction. So that's been a big help there in finding new areas, new texts, new literature, new stories as well to explore.
Mm-hmm. So you're doing your research and you're learning, and you're,
Mm-hmm.
probably others also learn from you. So that is a great thing to have also in your workplace. And if you were to compare University of Silesia and your current place of work with your previous places, how would you compare it? What are the differences that are most significant in terms of academic environment?
Yeah, I mean, I have. So the year before this, I worked a 1-year teaching job up in Canada as a sabbatical replacement person for someone else. So I have this interesting experience where, I mean, I've worked in multiple different foreign countries now, but that was my first academic job really, and it's very different there because, I mean, Canada we have here the welcome point, of course, that helps out with a lot of the foreign employees and things like that in terms of getting to know the city and, having excursions and all of that. They didn't have that at my previous employer, and not a lot of North American universities will have that, just because they hire international or foreign employees so infrequently because of some of the laws in Canada. So it's just not a thing that they're as well equipped to do with. So people coming here from North America will definitely find that a big difference and a big help too of coming to a different country like that they're, this university is more well equipped, it seems, to handle foreign employees and do things, I mean, not just in terms of the paperwork and stuff like that, but doing these excursions and stuff that helps you meet the different employees. Because even when I was in Canada, yes, there were other foreign employees, but I'd never really got a chance to meet them, to be honest, because there's just no sort of events. So it is a bit better in terms of social context and bringing us all together and helping out with, residence permits and things like that too.
Yeah, and it's also a pleasure to go on this excursion with you and also to meet you. So I think everyone is happy to meet interesting people. Okay, and in terms of academic culture, well, you more or less mentioned that, because that is the cultural part of working here. So that is, I think you have already answered that question. And how about your biggest surprise that you encountered here after coming to Poland? Positive or negative? What was the most shocking? Because you came from quite far. Of course, you studied in England, you worked in Canada, but it is a long way. and probably there are some big cultural differences.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of the university, I mean, one of the things that was a surprise to me that, again, we don't really do in North America or in the UK is this, what's called, this sort of point system for our publications that, you publish a journal article, a book chapter, a full book, and it goes, essentially you get a certain amount of points, which also translate into a certain amount of money, which you can use then to essentially purchase books for research and different sorts of things like that to then. So it's a nice system in terms of, the more research output you have, the more funds you have for further research. And that was a very nice surprise for me because we, in North America, you are expected as an academic to still obviously publish books and articles and things like that. But nowhere have I heard of this sort of point system where you get essentially funds back as directly as that. So that was a very good, positive surprise, I think. And yeah, very helpful. And I've told so many people about that sort of thing, and they're delighted to hear about that sort of thing. Whereas, a lot of the UK especially is, if you want money for that sort of thing, it's grant applications and stuff like that. So there is ways to get it, but not quite as rewarding in a sense from your prior publications. And I suppose, this is not really a negative thing, but I think this is something that people, another big difference with North America is that, you traditionally get your own office in North America for, pretty much everyone if there's the space. But here it seems, and this is not just Poland, I think this is Europe in general, it seems a bit bigger on sharing offices with people. So when I was in Canada, I had my own office, and here I share it with another postdoc. And that seems to be the go-to thing, which I think goes quite well in a sense of fostering collaboration and sociability and things like that. But I would tell people that back in North America, and they would worry about it endlessly, because if they get a bad office mate, then it could be good. But I got a good office mate here, so it's not really a worrisome thing. But I know some people will see that as a negative, perhaps, because it's considered a sort of grandeur thing to have your own office, your own space exclusive to yourself in North American universities especially.
Mm-hmm. Well, it of course it depends on your on the colleague you sit with. So that can be
yes.
There can be different cases. But on the other hand, after so much remote work, after pandemic, I think it might be actually a good thing for someone because having coffee together and
yes.
talking is a big part of work. And I think we became aware of that only recently, how important that is. So I'm glad you got used to that, because one's own space, it sounds better, but appreciating your colleagues, that is important thing. Okay, and if you were to give some advice to the beginners, to the person that, for example, considers coming to Poland to continue her or his research, and wonders how it is to work here, maybe I need some special traits or some skills that would make it easier for me, or that would make me more adjusted to working conditions here. What would you advise?
I think in general, with coming here, or just moving abroad in general, it often, it gives us an opportunity to basically reshape our lives in the ways that we want to. So, the lesson with that is, know what you want to do, but also be open to different things, because you're going to a different environment and stuff like that. So in terms of research directions, kind of what I've talked about, it would be easy to kind of just stick to my comfort zone in terms of research and not explore this Middle Byzantine period or anything, stick to what I know and stuff like that. But the more interesting thing is just being open to different research paths, different methodologies and things like that. And same thing on a more personal level too. Get out and explore different things, learn the local language and things like that. So, I mean, it helps just trying to be open as possible in terms of moving to a different place like this, because, you know, in some ways, a lot of people can be tempted to do the exact opposite. When you're thrown into a foreign place, you want to kind of stick to what you know, and it can be tempting at times to isolate yourself. But no, I mean, the more you get out there and the more you learn and, you know, get experience with it and talk to people that have been there as foreigners and as locals as well, I mean, it helps out a lot, both in terms of research, sociability, just meeting people and getting to know, I mean, the place that's essentially your new home as well. So, yeah, I mean, just, you know, have a go at it pretty much would be the advice that I say, and then just sort of leap into it and see what you come up with, really.
So you say openness in general, personally, and in terms of your job, as a refreshing experience.
Yeah. And it's again, I mean, there's a lot of quotes out there that, I mean, moving to a foreign country, you know, and I've lived actually most of my adult life outside of the U.S. now. So it's kind of, in a way, I see myself as, you know, yes, American in terms of citizenship, but also a little bit British, a little bit Canadian, a little bit Polish in a sense, because I've picked up different traits and habits from all the countries that I've lived in. And that's where the openness really helps. And, you know, in terms of reshaping your life, you know, you'll encounter things you don't like so much, and things you do like. Accept what, you know, is beneficial to you and take that on for the future wherever you end up.
It sounds appealing when you talk about it.
Yeah, it is very much. I've enjoyed it so much of going abroad so frequently, really.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your story, and for your encouragement also for people who listen to us, and for everyone, for me personally too. It was very interesting conversation. Thank you again. And I think we will have a short break now, and after a few minutes we will come back.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I remember my first days of work at University of Silesia. I entered the secretary's office, and the secretary, Miss Asha, smiled at me. She welcomed me in a very official way, like, "Good morning, professor." I'm not used to that. In my country, we address each other simply by you or simply by names. That's why I welcome my friend, saying, "Hi, Yasu." Ian explained me that here he might be called Yasu, but his mother or wife, but at work I should address other employees Miss Joanna or Professor Ian. The Polish etiquette seems very complicated. I must welcome my colleagues. Good morning, Professor. Good morning, Doctor. Also, the students have to call the lectures in this way. One day I overslept. I was totally stressed. I didn't want to be late for my classes. I was very surprised to see that there was almost no people at the university. Not a trace of a student. Has the academic year ended? Or maybe everybody is sick, or they didn't like my classes. I decided to go to the secretary's office. First, Miss Joanna calmed me down and asked me if I remembered the change of time. She explained that on the last Sunday of October, in Europe, the time is turned back by 1 hour. On the last Sunday of March, the time is moved back forward. It is important to remember that to avoid misunderstandings. I have set my watch. I have also learned that the Polish students can be 15 minutes late for their classes. They have the so-called kwadrans akademicki, or students' quarter. Miss Joanna offered that she will show me how the user system works. It is the university system supporting studies. I have to upload syllabi from my classes there. I can also download the list of people belonging to my groups. I will also fill in the students' grades there. Thanks to USOS, I can contact the students. In May, a similar situation happened. Nobody came to my classes. The students have simply disappeared. I thought maybe there was another change of time. I went back to the secretary's office. I met Joanna there. This time, she explained me that the rector announces the rector's hours. Rector or dean might decide that there are not classes due to the important reasons or some interesting events. That day, Juvenalia started. Juvenalia is a students' festival that usually takes place in May. All my students went to a concert.
Welcome again for another interview with my next guest. Now we meet Ms. Mariana Franco San Roman, PhD from the Faculty of Humanities. Welcome and thank you for taking part in USIL Career Day 2025.
Thank you for having me here. It's good to be here.
Okay, at the beginning, please tell us something more about yourself and about your area of expertise. What does your research focuses on?
Okay, well, I have a BA in letters with a major in classics and a PhD in classics, both from the University of Buenos Aires, Argentina. So I would say that my main field is classical philology. That means that I've studied ancient Latin and ancient Greek, and I focus on ancient Greek texts. Ancient Greek is the language in which many works were composed, such as Homer the Iliad, the Odyssey. You have the comedies of Aristophanes, you have speeches, you have history, etc. And I did a PhD where I focus on how the discourse of demagogy or demagoguery, you can use both words, has become what we have it as such today. So that's a word, actually those words come from ancient Greek. So what I did during my PhD was to work at the crossroads of two disciplines, actually, because although I have a PhD in classics, I use a modern linguistics framework. So basically those disciplines have worked separately for many decades, so I've been trying to unite them with the same corpus. So I would say that I have two main research topics. The first one, which is the main reason why I'm here, is that I belong to this research project whose interest is to understand how ancient Athenians thought about punishment. And we do it from a cognitive perspective. This is somewhat of a discipline that has been developed for the last 40 years or so. And basically the idea is to understand how what's the concept of punishment they had and what's the difference from their concept to our concept of punishment. Do we think in the same way or do we think in a different way, right? Mm-hmm. And my second topic is still demagoguery. I'm still working with Athenian texts from the 4th century. Actually, I'm writing 2 books about it. So those would be my topics.
Whoa, it sounds great. Does it mean that you're able to read Iliad in original?
Technically, yes, with the help of a dictionary, but yes.
Whoa, so you know it, this is the most faithful way to read it, because translation always changes.
Yes, we have in translation studies, we have this concept zero equivalence, which is there are some words that cannot be translated in a perfect way from one language to the other. So when you read it from the original, there's so much about it that when you translate it, you lose something. But philologists, we usually do translations, and we usually have our best friends which are the footnotes. Footnotes help us to explain many things that maybe you can lose if you only read the texts.
Mm-hmm. Yes, because also the culture, right? The associations, the shades of meaning. Yes. That is okay. So you can really read the originals and go through the journey of Odysseus as it was taught by ancient Greeks. Great. And how about your inspiration for this scientific area, for this job you're doing now? Were you sure from the very beginning or from a young age, I don't know, or at the end of this high school, that you want to do exactly what you're doing today?
Actually, no. It was a very long process. I had the chance to visit ancient Rome and Greece, and Athens specifically, when I was 8. And I decided I wanted to study Latin and Greek. But
so soon, 8-year-old, wanting to study ancient languages.
But I wasn't thinking to do a career out of it, because I always said that I would be a vet or a biologist. I always wanted to do research, but I had this link with animals, so I was thinking about working with them. But then when I was 15, I got this book, Tolkien's The Lord of the Rings, and I fell in love with it. I devoured it. And I said, well, I have to know more about this person. What did he do? What other books did he write? And the funny thing is that I ended up at the Tolkien Society in Argentina. And I met some cool people. Many of them are still my friends. So 24 years later, I'm still friends with them. And I learned a lot about philology. Actually, philology in Spanish, it's not a very common word in Latin America. Maybe more in Spain, but not in Latin America. So I never knew about philology until I read about Tolkien. Mm-hmm. And I really like how he dissected the languages and he tried to get into the people's minds, right? And it was through language. And I really like that. So it was the last year of high school. And I made a U-turn and I said, I'm going to study Anglo-Saxon philology.
Oh, what did your parents say?
No, my mom was happy because she came from the humanities, so it wasn't such a big deal. And I've always been the weird in my family, so it's not a big thing. And well, basically, I decided to study Anglo-Saxon philology, which actually it's not. We don't have that major in Argentina. Mm-hmm. So I was supposed to do get two BAs, different BAs, one from English and one from letters or literature. And the funny thing is that, well, when I said I have to study classics because I said I wanted to study Latin and Greek. So when I met my ancient Greek teacher, she made me fall in love with the language, and I just stayed. So basically, I wanted to be like Tolkien, and I ended up being like Tolkien, but with a different language.
So we can say that you got inspired by a fellow researcher from other times, from other country, well, from quite close times, but still, and also inspired by your ancient Greek lecturer. Yeah. So they somehow pulled you into this area partly. Yeah,
and I'd say that I had two other inspirations. One of them is my mom. She was a researcher, a historian. So, and actually I took my first steps into research with her when I was 16. I used to help her doing her research in Argentinian and Latin American history, but nevertheless it was research. Yeah. And she was the first researcher I met. And I would say that the other inspiration is my PhD supervisor, because he taught me so much, not only about ancient Greek comedy, politics, history, ancient Greek law, but he's such a great role model as what a scholar should be. So these three people were so important in my life.
So it's also in your blood to some extent.
Yeah, of course.
Research is in your blood. Oh, that's a great story of passion and inspiration. And why did you choose to come here? Because I know it's far. It's it's not the first choice that comes to your head. And what were the factors that decided that you thought, I will come to Poland, to the University of Silesia?
Well, of course, Poland wasn't my first choice. Actually, the thing is that I was looking for a postdoctoral position outside of Argentina. Maybe the US, but mainly Europe, because it had always been my dream, and my mom's as well. And well, we have the classicists. We have this list where people share their calls for applications, for scholarships, for publications, etc. And there was this email about this research project, which was at the crossroads of cognitive linguistics and ancient Greek. So I read about it and said, okay, this is very interesting, and they're working on an ancient Greek law topic. And back in Argentina, I was getting a BA in law as well, besides my BA in letters. And I was working on ancient Greek law, so I said, I think that would be good for me. And I did some research on the other researchers from the team. I was very impressed by their work. Actually, one of them, I had been reading him before I knew all about it. So everything just seemed to fit. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of interesting, because I think what made me want to come here was the people. I think, and it's interesting because usually when you're working in the humanities, people think it's a very solitary work, because you have to read and write a lot by yourself, but actually the social aspect cannot be neglected.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to be able to talk to other people, to have somebody else to talk about your interests, your ideas, your hypotheses, your questions, because not always you have all the answers, and you need to have some feedback. So, and the feedback I've been getting since I arrived has been great. So I would say that the most important thing here for me is people.
Yeah, when you're talking, you really can reflect your ideas. Yeah, and you think it's a different kind of thinking when you can share. That's
it's so
true.
much fun. So much fun.
That's the pleasant part of it all. Well, for you, maybe not the only one, but I can believe it is a different matter when you can really talk and see what is the reception of it, what people think, how they feel it. And did work in Poland give you some new opportunities, new challenges? What did it change in your career path, in your career, in your research in general?
Well, the thing is that I've only been here for 6 months, so I think the biggest effect maybe come later. But I'd say that I've widened my working network. I got in touch with main researchers from my field in a way that I wouldn't have done that being in Argentina. People here have connected me with them, and that's been great. So I'd say that, again, the social aspect is important. So I would say that that's something that has changed in a radical way, I think, for me within the last few months. And in terms of challenges, I would say that the language is somewhat of a challenge. I've studied many languages, but this is my first Slavic language. So it's difficult for me to remember the words, because sometimes they don't say anything to me. So that would be a challenge. But at the same time, the good thing about people here is that when they see that you're trying to communicate in their own language, they do everything they can to connect with you. So I guess that it's definitely a challenge, but it's nothing that you cannot actually do. You'll end up learning the language, and you'll end up communicating with people. So.
Mm-hmm. Well, but you're dealing with such a difficult old languages that also for you it must be easier. And when you sometimes speak Polish, that is so natural. So you have more dispositions and somehow more features that make it possible for you to learn. Because when I compare ancient Greek and Polish, it's a totally different story.
I have a tighter grasp of grammar, that's for sure, and that helps a lot. And actually, there's some things in Polish that they are similar to Greek because they're both Indo-European languages. And for instance, the other day I found out that there's this word in Polish that it has the same concept as an expression we have in Spanish, and that's so interesting. That's so funny.
Whoa,
yeah.
That is. I thought Spanish is quite far from us. It's a totally different language.
But the verb to say I hate, nienawidzę, is when you dissect it, you have the negation nie, no, you have the preposition which has some kind of direction, and then you have the verb to see.
Yeah, you cannot see
and
anything.
You cannot see someone. And actually, we say the same thing in Spanish. We cannot see someone. It's that you hate someone.
Oh, and how is it in Spanish?
No puedo ver a alguien.
Ah, okay. So we have some similarities. That is great. I didn't know there are some common concepts and words with the same concepts. Oh, so that is fascinating. And how about comparing academic environment in Poland and in the places in Argentina, in the places you worked before? How would you compare them? Are there some unique aspects in Poland of our academic culture that you consider somehow significant?
Well, besides Argentina, I worked in the US and in Switzerland. And I guess that Poland is as international as the US or Switzerland. But maybe I could say that there's this slight difference. I feel like here people tend to socialize more between each other. And I think that's great because the kind of bonds that you can create here are somewhat different from the ones you can create in other places. So I really like this. I felt like home because in Argentina we tend to bond a lot. I come from this huge research group. I'm saying huge because we are 22, 23 people.
Yeah, that's a lot.
And we hang out after our meetings, and well, we have a similar thing here, and I really like that. So it made me feel like home.
Yeah, one works with people, and that is very, very important aspect. Apart from any kind of research, these are the people that you mainly think about when you change your workplace, or when you think about changing the place of living or working. Yeah, that's the people is a big part of it. And in terms of culture, if you were to compare the countries you worked in, I think that is also in between the culture and the research, so that there is no limit or the border.
I don't feel like there's a border here, which is a very good thing. I feel like we have some barriers working from Argentina. I'd say that we have like 3 barriers. One of them is a geographical one, because we are far away and our continent is huge. So it's difficult for us to connect. Now with the internet, it's easier, but anyhow. And we tend to be more regional in Latin America. We tend to work with our neighboring countries, with Spanish-speaking countries. So we also have this language barrier, because Spanish is a language of science for many countries, but the main language right now is English. So we tend to publish in Spanish, so that usually may be a barrier for us. And then we have the financial barrier, because it's really expensive, for instance, to come to Europe for us. And here everything is like smaller and it's very well connected. You have trains, you have airplanes, you have everything. So it's easier for you to get in touch with other people and to go to different academic events. So maybe in Argentina, we tend to work in a more regional level with other Latin American countries, maybe more with Spain or with Portugal, but still it's very far from us to come to Europe. So I guess that for me, that's a life-changing event, because here I'm more connected with other people. That being in Argentina, it's more difficult because, for instance, in Argentina, we usually have to pay for ourselves to go to conferences or to events. And so
that is a big cost.
Yes.
Yes, for us it is usually, for our researchers, it's also cost, but it is often funded. And that's
what we don't usually have. Right now, science is being more defunded, so yeah.
Yeah, and that is nowadays it is the main thing, to be able to communicate with others and to do common research.
Yeah,
it develops. Okay, and the biggest surprise, if you were to name the biggest surprise, you're from different culture. From what you're saying, also very warm and open culture, which I hope, it's good to hear that it's a bit similar here, because I always associate your home culture with, open, friendly people, sincere people. So you came from different part of the world. So there might be quite a lot of surprises here in Poland for you.
Well, I think one of the surprises I had was that when I said I was coming here, well, people couldn't believe it at first. But the funny thing is that they told me that Poles were distant. we have like this stereotype, and it's kind of weird because actually we have a big Polish community, but at the same time, I didn't have any kind of bond with Poles before coming here, because my family is mostly Mediterranean. They came from Syria, from Italy, and from Spain, so we have a different culture in that regard. But I said, well, maybe I'll end up with distant people. Well, I can handle that. Actually, it's not true.
At least you didn't meet such people.
No. Actually, people here are wonderful, are very open. When you're, I think maybe it's related as well with the stance you usually have when you meet other people. But actually, I felt very welcome since day one. So I think that was maybe one of the biggest surprises I had. And the second surprise I had, I think, is that. Well, when I arrived, I realized that I wasn't the only one. Mm-hmm. That there were other foreigners. Actually, in my close group, we are 4 foreigners, and I met other people in different activities, such as Polish course, and I realized that I wasn't an anomaly. That it's not that I was just by myself. I was the only foreigner. Of course, I wasn't going to be the only foreigner, but I didn't know how many other foreign people I would find. Yeah. And it was wonderful because I realized that the university has this policy to internationalize herself, to make her more international. And I think diversity is important because it enriches our research. And for that, we need different backgrounds. So I would say that was the second surprise I had.
I'm very glad because we also enjoy the fact that we have many foreign employees, and we can also share our views and cultures, and that is very interesting part of work and also of being together. So I agree, and I'm happy that surprises were positive for you. Yes. I hope there will be no negatives because, always something might happen, but so far, if it didn't happen, we'll hope for the best. Okay, and the last question I have is about your advice for beginners, for the people who maybe think to come here, but they are not thoroughly convinced about their decision, and they wonder how it would be to work here. Do they need some special skills or traits of character that would make it easier for them, or that would make it possible for them to adjust here better? What advice would you give?
Well, I have one advice. It's the same advice I give to everyone who goes abroad, actually. It's a very philological one, I'm sorry. But it is the moment you know that you are planning on coming here, you should start learning the language.
Oh, okay. Not just the basics.
Yeah, at least the basics, because being able to say good morning, thank you, I'm sorry, have a good day, you're welcome, are words that can open many doors. And I'm not saying like literal doors, but when people see that you're trying to communicate in their own language, they react in a different way. And say they are more open to help you and to communicate. So I would say that it's not that you have to have a perfect Polish, because I have almost no Polish whatsoever, but they see that I have this attitude, this open attitude towards them, and I'd say that would be my advice to them. And in terms of personal trait, I would say that you should be flexible, because of course you're coming to a different country and your culture may differ greatly or not from yours. So it's like something you have to bear in mind. And the thing is that Poland is a very bureaucratic country. I know Poles know that. Actually, that was kind of funny. It wasn't a big shock for me because Argentina is a very bureaucratic country as well, so it wasn't that shocking to me. But the good thing about coming to Poland and having this huge bureaucratic apparatus is that Poles know they have lots of bureaucracy, and they help you a lot to try to deal with it. So actually something that it's in fact a barrier and can be a barrier, at least coming to the Uniwersytet Śląski has been great because everyone has helped me a lot dealing with this barrier, because it may be difficult, especially because it's in a language that you don't necessarily know, so it's kind of...
Yeah, sometimes not all the forms are prepared in English or in any other language. Yeah, this is, I think this is something we fight with also. But the attitude you have towards bureaucracy and to help people from abroad, I think it's wonderful. And you don't always find that in other places, so that's commendable. Oh, that's very good to hear. Okay, so thank you for sharing your experience. Thank you for agreeing to share it also with our viewers, and for telling us about the story of your career, of your research. That is also very interesting for everyone that is going to hear this conversation, that is going to watch our UCL Career Day 2025 recording. Thank you for your time, and good luck in your further research and in work at the University of Silesia and in Poland. We are very happy that you are also part of university community.
Thank you very much for having me here at the studio and at the university as well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so now I want to invite our viewers for a short break, and afterwards we will talk to two other guests. So stay with us for another time, and see you in a few minutes.
One day I was feeling really bad. I had a stomachache. Maybe I have eaten something not fresh. I thought it would be good to go to the doctor. I asked the secretary where I can find a stomatologist. Miss Joanna quickly arranged a visit for me and gave me the address. I went to that place, but I couldn't find a GP. It turned out that Miss Joanna has sent me to the dentist. Can you believe it? I had problems with my stomach, not with my teeth. So I thought I should go to the stomatologist. With the growing stomach ache, I came back to the university. I sat down in the armchair in my secretary's office and I almost fell asleep. Joanna was very worried, probably because I looked unwell. Joanna quickly called the GP and arranged an online doctor's visit for me. Since the lockdown, this kind of doctor's appointment are possible as well as quite popular. A friendly doctor called me. I told him about my symptoms: stomachache, feeling bad, headache and sickness. Luckily, I didn't have fever. The doctor told me that he will give me a referral for blood test. I also received a code for the online prescriptions. Suddenly, I heard knocking at the door. Miss Joanna opened. She went to the herbal shop, brought me some herbs for digestion. She has also given me suharki. I was really surprised, but she explained that Poles eat stale bread when they have stomach problems. It's cheap, caloric and has a long expiry date. Miss Joanna cancelled my classes for that date and moved it to the another date. On the way home, I went to the pharmacy to buy some medications and pills for digestions. I also wanted to buy some cosmetics, but there was not much of it. That was a pity. I thought I could buy everything I need in one place. Then I learned that in Polish pharmacies, you can only buy the medicaments and some basic hygienic products. If you want a wider choice of cosmetics, you need to go to a different shop. Few days later, I felt much better. I readily agreed to go to the Galleria Katowice with Miss Joanna. I love paintings, so I was happy I will spend some time admiring them. However, it turned out that it was not a gallery. In Poland, also, shopping centers can be called galeria. I quickly realized that Joanna meant shopping together. She knew I needed some cosmetics and she wanted to buy herself Adidasi. Galeria, Adidasi, anything else? Joanna smiled and explained that in Poland it means that trainers in general, regardless of their brand. A lot of words functions like this. Pen drive, that is ordinary flash drives. Aspirin, a fever medicine. Actually, this kind of usage of words is known in other countries and languages as well.
My first visit at my colleague Jan was very special. Jan invited me for the Christmas Eve supper. 24th of December is a special day also for the Poles. I dressed up elegantly and I thought I will buy red wine for Jan and roses for his wife Anna. They welcomed me at the door, but they did not want to shake hands above the threshold. It turned out the Poles believe that shaking hands over the threshold may bring bad luck. Anna has reached out and shook my hand. I handed her the flowers and she was very happy. In Poland, it's the woman that reaches her hand for handshake first. Christmas Eve supper in Polish homes is a very important event. Before the Poles start to eat, they share the wafer and give each other good wishes. I have already been hungry, so I was very glad that we could finally sit at the table. There were many different serving plates full of good food. But why did they put the hay here, I wondered. Do they think I am an animal? And what is the disgusting thing laying so close to my plate? Anna noticed my confusion and she explained that it's all part of the custom. After the supper you need to put the scale into your wallet. It shall bring you wealth. The money should stay under the tablecloth during the supper. They say from financial trouble. I have also learned that the straw is a Christmas hay. It put under the tablecloth to commemorate that Jesus has been born in a manger. I looked around unsure if I could start eating. One chair was still free. I was wondering if we are still waiting for somebody. Anna explained that it's an old Polish custom. The empty place is prepared for an unexpected guest. Usually I don't eat that much, but the hostess have constantly encouraged me to try all 12 dishes. The number is symbolic. It is connected with 12 apostles. None of the dishes contained meat. Is it possible that Jan is a vegetarian? When he is at work and we order food, he usually has a pork chop. Or maybe he pretends to be vegetarian in front of his wife. I was surprised that we did not drink the wine I have brought. Later I learned that the Christmas Eve is a fast day, and according to the custom, alcohol is not served. Half a year later, Jan has invited me for Easter. On my way, some children spilled water on me. Can you imagine? Luckily, it was clean water. I was soaking and angry. I rang the doorbell at Anna and Jan's flat door. I thought they will feel sorry for me. I was really shocked when Jan opened the door and also spilled water on me. That was enough for me. Are they crazy, I thought. I wanted to call the police, but then Anya came explained that it was only Schmigus Dingus. In the past, on the Easter Monday, the water was spilled on the young girls who had no husbands yet. Today, everybody can spray water on everybody, and they seem to have a lot of fun. Every country has its own customs. My Polish friends gave me dry clothes, served coffee and cake. I have spent a really nice afternoon with them. When I was leaving, Anya gave me Jan's water gun, the weapon she confiscated earlier. to defend myself on my way home. I started to get used to Polish customs and hospitality.
Welcome again at the next part of USIL Career Day 2025. After talking to our foreign employees, our foreign researchers, now my guest is a Polish employee who also provides support for our foreign employees in very special area of their activity. My guest is Doastano, coordinator of the international research projects from the projects department. Welcome and thank you for coming to share your experience of your work at the university.
Welcome and thank you for inviting me.
Okay, so your job title tells us something about your work, but not all. So maybe you could tell us something more about your work, about how it looks like, and how long have you been working at the University of Silesia?
I've been working for the University of Silesia for 6 years, but my experience in working at higher educational institution takes a little bit longer time. I've been working for universities for almost 19 years. And in my previous work, I've been responsible for Erasmus Plus. I've been working as an Erasmus Plus coordinator, and I also have been implementing projects which were financed by the European Union. So now I feel that combine those both sides. So I also responsible for projects, but this time those are research projects, and those are international research projects. So
it's like you moved from Erasmus and from Erasmus Plus, so not students.
Erasmus, and then later on it was Erasmus Plus, and yes, these were educational projects. And now I'm responsible for supporting our researchers in their activities to possess grants for funding their research activities.
Okay. So your work grows more and more advanced and more serious, so to speak, because writing these applications is not an easy task, from what I know.
Yes, it's not an easy task, but I'm not involved in this research contact. Me and my colleagues from project department, we are playing the support role for researchers. So we are helping them in preparation of the budget. We are checking if their application is required with the
details that they need to have?
Yes, the details, if this application comply with the information that they are needed to succeed.
Mm-hmm. So you don't need scientific knowledge. You're not a specialist a bit in mathematics, a bit in physics, and a bit in history. You don't have to deal with that. You sometimes learn probably about it. You know something from them.
Yes, I learned lots of things from all those projects that I'm supporting. And no, it is not necessary from my position to have this in-depth scientific knowledge, but I think a little bit knowledge about language, yes, about
about the methods, right?
Yes,
about
yes,
how
the principles
to write.
of scientific works. It might help. It might help, especially in communication, yes. And like I said, my role is rather support, so I have to have the organization skills, communication skills, rather than the knowledge,
the
scientific knowledge.
And I think that is more precious for them than scientific knowledge, because they have it. And so writing project in a proper way. I know it from experience because, of course, it wasn't a scientific project, but I know that it might be really difficult to give the exact information you need to put in there and to adjust to all these requirements. Okay, so that is difficult work, but I think it is very needed for our foreign employees also. Generally, it sounds like you have a lot to do with people from abroad, probably during Erasmus also. So during all your career, you met many foreigners. Would you say that working with people from abroad is different and writing projects with them is more difficult or less because of the culture or language?
I think it might be very difficult because we are people from different backgrounds with different cultural backgrounds, and there are cultures which are more value with the close communications. There are cultures which are focus on the strict hierarchy, and they are very official. So it might bring some I don't want to say problems, but
different. You need to have different approach, probably.
Yes, but what I think is important that we have to aware that we are cooperating with different people, and we have to respect different cultures. But actually, from my observation, and I see that both sides, administrative staffs and researchers, we are rather focusing on building bridges, and we are tending to success, and we are not focusing on our differences.
You try to bridge them on both sides.
Yes.
And that is great because it means anything is possible.
Exactly.
Okay, that is great. And are there any research projects that you were supporting that you're especially proud of, or that are especially interesting and you remember them, more than others?
It's a very hard question because it's hard to pick one. All of those projects that I've been involved in preparation, and each project that I've been involved in implementation is very important for me. And they are also very interesting. So it's really hard to pick because, I see that they are focusing on such a interesting and important issues which have impact on our future. So it's really hard to pick one. All of them, I think, are important, and they has really impact on our future.
Yeah, that is probably wonderful that you are part of something that really has influence on the world, on the outside world.
Yes, that's very nice feeling to feel that I'm, this small part of this one second, the third research group, which brings something good to our life.
Oh yeah, that must be satisfying that you're supporting it. Okay, and what do you like best about your work? Because I believe sometimes it might be tedious, it might be tiring, it might be monotonous sometimes. But what is it that you like that you like the most about it?
Meeting new people. Cooperation with people from abroad is very interesting. We are different. We've got different perspectives for lives, for our society. Yes, for our being here in Katowice, in university. it's always nice to meet new people and exchange ideas. And even if we are talking about researchers, or if I'm meeting with persons from different project department, exchanging idea, it's really nice, and it's every meeting improve my work and makes my work very interesting. And yeah, that's I think those are the things that I really like in my work.
And these are the things that make you want to continue and wait for the next projects, probably.
Yes,
right?
of course.
Okay, thank you then. Thank you for your time, and thank you for sharing your experience with us, and information also on support for writing projects. I'm sure that our viewers also are glad to know that if they come, if they will be our employees one day, if they decide to continue their research here, they can count on support in all these aspects of writing the projects that are non-scientific, that they might not have a lot of knowledge about. So that is also very precious information for us, and it was also very interesting to meet you, and thank you for accepting the invitation to share your knowledge at USIL Career Day 2025. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay. We will talk to the last guest of the USIL Career Day 2025.
Drogowa trasa średnicowa, którą właśnie jedziesz, to największa drogowa inwestycja województwa śląskiego. To właśnie tą trasą dojedziesz do Śląskiego Międzyuczelnianego Centrum Edukacji i Badań Interdyscyplinarnych, w którym od 2019 roku działa Wydział Nauk Ścisłych i Technicznych. 140 nowoczesnych laboratoriów i pracowni badawczych, multimedialna biblioteka, dziekanaty czy audiowizualne aule. Aha, widzę, że nie tylko mnie przydałby się odpoczynek. Rozgość się w wydziałowej strefie aktywności studenckiej. A teraz wyjrzyj przez okno. Obok budynku znajduje się wielofunkcyjna strefa aktywności, która łączy lokalną i uniwersytecką społeczność. Gotowa na dalsze poznawanie uroków Chorzowa? Obiecuję, że to miasto jeszcze nie raz Cię zaskoczy. Chorzowski Rynek jest prawdopodobnie jedynym placem w Polsce, który został podzielony na pół drogą szybkiego ruchu, tak zwaną estakadą. To galeria sztuki muzycznej i obrazu. Po drugiej stronie estakady mieści się siedziba Teatru Rozrywki. To jedna z najważniejszych polskich scen teatralnych. Zachwycający, prawda? Budynek Poczty Polskiej to prawdziwa neogotycka wizytówka miasta. Postindustrialne obiekty miasta znajdują się także na szlaku zabytków techniki naszego województwa, który jest najbardziej interesującą trasą turystyki industrialnej w Polsce. Pokażę Ci jeszcze zielone płuca Chorzowa, czyli Park Śląski. To blisko 600 hektarów zieleni, Śląski Park Linowy, ścieżki rowerowe i śląskie wesołe miasteczko nazywane Legendią. W parku mamy także coś dla miłośników wiedzy. Planetarium Śląski Park Nauki. A to prawdziwa legenda – Stadion Śląski. To właśnie tutaj latem odbywają się liczne koncerty, warsztaty czy zloty food trucków. A to tylko początek Twojej uniwersyteckiej przygody. Witaj w Cieszynie, mieście, w którym stykają się dwie kultury – polska i czeska. Jak najlepiej zacząć poznawać nowe miejsce? Kierując się z punktu A do punktu B na własnych nogach. Jesteś na miejscu. Wydział Sztuki i Naukoedukacji. Tu kształtują się i rozwijają swoje pasje przedstawiciele nauk społecznych i humanistycznych oraz środowisk artystycznych. Cieszyński kampus jest jednym z najpiękniejszych obiektów Uniwersytetu Śląskiego. Jest w tym więcej niż ziarno prawdy, nie sądzisz? Instytut Sztuk Plastycznych jest domeną ludzi sztuki, grafików, malarzy, rzeźbiarzy, rysowników, projektantów graficznych i fotografów. Uczymy tu też projektowania gier i przestrzeni wirtualnej. Instytut Sztuk Muzycznych jest kuźnią młodych instrumentalistów, wokalistów i realizatorów nagrań. Teraz przyszedł czas na zasłużony relaks. Kieruj się do centrum. Jesteś na cieszyńskim rynku. Rozejrzyj się. Ładnie tu, prawda? Ten czarujący rynek powstał pod koniec XV wieku. Nadal można tu znaleźć pozostałości po średniowiecznej zabudowie. W Cieszynie nie brakuje miejsc z dobrą kawą. Znasz tę budowlę, prawda? Rotunda w Cieszynie ma już około 1000 lat. A wiedziałaś, że w Cieszynie jest Wenecja? Chodźmy tam. Historia cieszyńskiej Wenecji sięga XVI wieku. Znajdziesz tutaj zabytkową architekturę, a także liczne puby i restauracje. Cieszyn to miasto spotkanie dwóch kultur. Po drugiej stronie rzeki są Czechy. A teraz w góry. A to tylko początek Twojej uniwersyteckiej przygody. Witaj w Katowicach, stolicy województwa śląskiego. Gotowa na spacer? Jesteś na katowickim kampusie Uniwersytetu Śląskiego. Wydział Humanistyczny wprowadził się do tego budynku w 2021 roku. Zajrzymy do środka. A teraz chodźmy odwiedzić samorząd studencki. To zaraz za rogiem przy Bankowej 14. W tym budynku można też studiować matematykę. W budynku pod numerem 12 znajduje się siedziba rektoratu. Tutaj pracują władze uczelni, a Tobie polecam Centrum Obsługi Studentów, czyli wyjątkowo kolorowe miejsce w rektoracie. Chodźmy do sąsiadów z naprzeciwka. Wydział Nauk Społecznych przy ulicy Bankowej 11 kształci socjologów, politologów i dziennikarzy, którzy szlifują swoje umiejętności w nowoczesnym studiu. Studia to wiedza, książki i rozmowy ze znajomymi. Pokażę Ci miejsce, w którym połączysz wszystkie te 3 elementy. Mieści się tu Centrum Informacji Naukowej i Biblioteka Akademicka. I jeszcze jedno. Stąd jest już bardzo blisko do gwiazd. A to Wydział Prawa i Administracji. W XXI wieku wprowadził się do nowego budynku o niezwykłej architekturze. Tutaj także studenci przekuwają teorię w praktykę. Nasz kampus znajduje się nad rzeką Rawą, którą staramy się przywrócić miastu i jego mieszkańcom. Właśnie tu zorganizowaliśmy 5. edycję Śląskiego Festiwalu Nauki, w której wzięło udział 30 000 ludzi. Pora przejść na drugą stronę rzeki. Budynek Instytutu Chemii jest zabytkowy, ale badania, które w nim prowadzimy, są nowoczesne. Sprawdzimy skład chemiczny wody z Rawy. Widzę, że wciągnęła Cię praca w laboratorium. To może obejrzymy z bliska rośliny, które rosną nad Rawą. 2 kroki stąd jest Instytut Biologii, Biotechnologii i Ochrony Środowiska. Czas na spacer ulicą Warszawską, która powstała na długo zanim Katowice stały się miastem. Uważaj, żeby nie przegapić skrętu w lewo. Przy ulicy Pawła III mieści się Szkoła Filmowa imienia Krzysztofa Kieślowskiego, w której kształcimy m.in. reżyserów, operatorów i producentów filmowych. Wielokrotnie nagradzany budynek Szkoły Filmowej to połączenie tradycyjnej śląskiej architektury z finezją nowoczesności zaproponowaną przez hiszpańskich architektów. W tych pięknych wnętrzach uczą się młodzi filmowcy, których dzieła są oglądane na całym świecie. Także w Katowicach, gdzie nie brakuje kultowych kin. Czas na dłuższy spacer, w trakcie którego zobaczysz wizytówki miasta, strefę kultury i legendarny spodek. To Wydział Nauk Społecznych przy ulicy Grażyńskiego 53, gdzie uczymy przyszłych pedagogów i psychologów. spacer ulicami Mariacką i Dworcową to dobry moment na łyk kawy. Wydział Nauk Przyrodniczych mieści się przy ulicy Jagiellońskiej. Sprawdzimy, co jest w środku. Zajmujemy się tu m.in. badaniami roślin i mikroorganizmów. Nieopodal katedry znajduje się siedziba Wydziału Teologicznego. Jesteśmy w dzielnicy Ligota, gdzie znajdują się nasze akademiki. Tutaj swoją siedzibę ma studenckie radio Egida. Opowiesz na antenie o dzisiejszej wyprawie? A to tylko początek Twojej uniwersyteckiej przygody.
Welcome after a short break at the UCL Career Day 2025. I will now welcome our next guest. My and yours next guest is Barbara Smortevka, PhD, from the HR department of the University of Silesia in Katowice. Welcome, Barbara. Thank you for coming to this recording, thank you for sharing your knowledge and your time with us.
Hello, everybody.
Okay, maybe at first you can tell us something more about your work, about how long have you been working at the University of Silesia?
I am work and organizational psychologist, graduate of this university. I have been working here since 1999, so this is my university. Yeah? And my career here was divided between didactic and administrative work. So I used to be a teacher, academic teacher at School of Management, which existed at university for a long time, more than 25 years. Now school is closed. And I used to be administrative staff, manager of Student Service Center, and now I'm again in administration, academic administration, and I am human resources. I work in human resources department, HR department. I'm HR specialist for training and staff development. So this is my work, to support organization of trainings, workshops, webinars, and other form of development for our employees. And what it means in daily work. One day I cooperate, for example, with project department to prepare application form for external grants, including training component. Another day I am searching for a provider for trainers on the labor market, for training we are going to have for our employees. Another week I have to prepare or participate in preparation of the contract with this provider, or prepare book and prepare room for the training. So from general level to detailed tasks towards realizing as many trainings as possible.
I think we are also not aware of how much work it is to prepare the training on good level, to do everything for the best effect, so that really our employees can get knowledge and be comfortable and really take some advantage of it. And,
Yes, you're right.
That it happens. Okay, so you're supporting the university for a long time. This is university for life, as we sometimes say.
I am the best exemplar of that.
Yes, and you're the example that our university is a good place of work for everyone. Okay, and because we are now talking as a part of the USIL Career Days, which is mainly dedicated for people from abroad that consider work in Katowice, work in University of Silesia. What is your experience with people from abroad that already work at the university? Do you meet foreign people in your work in HR department as well?
Yes, of course, because foreign employees visit often our welcome point. This is a place where you work, and when they are invited there from the first day of work at university. So this is a part of HR department. So I sometimes meet them on the corridor, I can say, but because we work together, I had a occasion to participate few times in some activities organized by Welcome Point, like trips to Wrocław or Cieszyn, and I like them very much. It was an occasion to meet foreign employees and for longer time, not only to say hello on the corridor, but talk together, eat together, do some interesting activities like on outdoor game in Cieszyn. So it was a real pleasure to meet them and found how interesting people they are. And of course I meet them sometimes during trainings. We try to remember at university about our foreign employees in the context of training organization. In practical terms, it means that we have to organize trainings in English. And this is then the trainings, workshops, webinars are available for every employee speaking who speaks English. So I try to initiate such trainings. Mostly I am involved in the organization process. Sometimes I only distribute information about webinars or other forms of development proposed in English. So this is the occasion to meet foreign employees. And while we are talking about trainings, I would like to add also that we constantly, at university, we constantly organize trainings for all university employees, trainings when they can develop their language skills, they training or courses when they they can develop language skills, soft skills, multicultural skills, because we want to be international university, so we understand that this is necessary to have this range of competencies, of skills, also an open approach, and it must be constantly repeated.
It is not only foreign employees that need or we want to provide the trainings for, but also we as a university need to prepare to have them, right?
I am talking about employees because I am from HR department, but this range of skills and this approach is necessary to everybody, every member of our community. Also students and other stakeholders here.
Yes. Foreigners, foreign employees are usually very open, and we just should be as open as them and somehow prepared to answer their needs and their questions.
Because we invite them, to work with us, to be with us.
Yes, we are hosts or guests, so it is our task also. From what you tell me, you have quite a lot of experiences with foreigners. You spend time with them also during some excursions or trainings. Do you think they are happy at the university? Do you feel they feel at home and they are satisfied with their decision of moving to Poland and to our university?
As I mentioned, I sometimes met them during trips, excursion. So that time they are happy and relaxed. Yeah, because this is the aim of these activities. So we organize trips to give opportunity for starting relationships,
making acquaintances.
Yeah, exactly. So a few times or several times I saw some of them really happy and relaxed, but sometimes in welcome point I can see them with you working on bureaucracy and unpleasant formalities towards accomplish their legal status in Poland. So in that time they are not so happy. Very often they are overwhelmed by these formalities, but for sure I know that there are some of them which are really glad really glad of living and working here in Poland and at our university, because I observed that some people participate in many activities. We offer welcome point offers. So this is for me. I perceived is as a success, and I think that is a proof that they like to be there, to be a part of this community, to be even actor in film we propose, or to take part in another meeting. So for sure some people like Poland and our university very much. Maybe I'm not ready to put names now, but I have in my head now a few faces, our friends, we can say. And what I would like to add, I would like to have more foreigners here at university. I think that this is this international work environment, this is the advantage. This is the occasion, a possibility, a path for higher innovations and development. And for higher school, this is crucial. So I would like to see more international employees here.
Yes, we all hope there will be more of employees from abroad that will share their experience, their knowledge, their research. Also, my previous guest told me that this human factor is very important, that they are happy with their teams because they can learn from one another, because they have some similar research, not the same, but similar, so they also learn. And I think also this personal aspect is very important, right? That we also learn to look at things differently, to have different approach, to be more relaxed or more strict, depending on the situation. So that is the good thing.
I would like to add that sometimes I also meet, as you, these team members, people who work with our foreigners in teams, and they I see that they look for the foreign employees. They take care of them, and they need some support from us, to some explanation, some particular help. So this is a good signal that they. I understand that our foreign employees are in.
They are in good hands.
In good hands.
Yes, their superiors really do care about them. It is not like you're hired and now do what you want. They really care. That is true. I also see it in Welcome Point. That I get some inquiries also, not only but also from the superiors that just take care or worry about their employees. Well, worry is not a good word maybe, but want to make their work and their stay in Poland as smooth as possible without any obstacles. So now that we are talking about the forms of support of the foreign employees, are there things that you see that might be improved for them, for our present and future researchers and academics that will come from abroad? Is there anything else we can do for them when you look at it? Some functions, some things we could develop so that they can feel even more at home here?
I think that there are a lot of things we can do better for them, but for me the most important thing is to offer every information, every single web page in English. We try to do this, but this is not there is not enough level of translation.
Not completed yet.
Yes, not completed yet. And I think that it should be our strong habit, our decision, responsibility and consequence to translate or create everything from the beginning, both in Polish and English parallelly. And maybe it is not, nowadays, maybe this is not a question of money, because there are a lot of IT tools, IT solutions, applications, which are good and free. I mean solutions for translation. So maybe provide them. It's enough. But I think that we should think about it and decide this, because this is a question of inclusion. In effect, as our foreign employees can be independent, I do believe that the managers, leaders, co-workers, they support our foreign employees in daily work with translation of the documents, procedures which are necessary for them, but it should be done almost automatically,
so that they don't need to ask for this help and for support. So they are provided directly the information in their language.
This is something what I think should be done. I'm glad that we participate in the process, but as you said, it should be completed, and maybe we should do this in smart way,
Yes, in some easy method, but just to remember about it, especially at the university when we get many different messages and many different documents on our mailbox. It should always be repeated, because this newsletter that comes in both languages.
We are ready to prepare, but I think that we should do this first step. Nobody should ask about it. It should be done.
It should be obvious.
Simply. It should be obvious. This is my dream.
I think we are close to. We are really close to making it come true, and also the projects. One of them, the one from which this event is organized, was used to make people also aware of the foreign employees, of their impact also, and of their research. Okay, so thank you for sharing your view and your experience with foreign employees at the University of Silesia. Thank you for joining USIL Career Day 2025.
Thank you
was great
for inviting me.
Thank you. Okay, so thank you also for joining us, and we are inviting you for a short break.
One day our rector announced the rector's hours, so my Polish friend Maria and I took a little tour through the city. We decided to visit the Katowice culture zone located next to the university. We started our tour from Spodek, which literally means a flying saucer, the arena of sports events and concerts. Next to it there is the International Congress Center, which hosts many important meetings and conferences and even a science festival. Then we went towards the modern building of the Polish National Radio Symphony Orchestra and the Silesian Museum with a high mine shaft. Maria told me that there used to be the Katowice mine in this area. In the past, Silesia was an industrial region based on coal extraction. But now, mines and industrial buildings have gained new functions, becoming cultural zones, shopping centers, and modern office spaces. By the way, I learned that the complicated and difficult history also shaped the local language. The accents are slightly different and some words differ from Polish because they are of German origin. I have also learned that a popular greeting in Silesia is Szczęść Boże, which literally means God bless, just like a bit the German Grüß Gott. After a short sightseeing, we went to a cafe. I noticed that Maria took off her hat. I asked her why. She told me that in Poland you shouldn't have any headgear in the interiors. This applies not only to churches and museums, but also to the university and to cafes. We sat at one of the tables. Maria recommended me to try the lemon spisa, traditional Silesian dessert. I was very curious about it because its name sounded a bit German. While we were waiting for our order, my colleague Jan joined us and asked about my travel to Poland. Most of all, I was impressed that the Silesian region was so modern and connected. This is thanks to the two nearby airports and the motorway network. But then, walking down the street, I was surprised that the people seemed to be very serious. In my country, people say hi when I meet them. I tried to smile at one lady passing me with bags, but she looked at me suspiciously. Jan laughed and explained that in Poland you greet only people you know. And this serious look doesn't mean that they are sad or that they don't like you. But when you know them a bit better, you find out that they are actually very warm and friendly. The spisa was delicious. Jan had to go, so we asked for the bill. I didn't have the change, so I handed the waiter 50 zloty, saying thank you. I was waiting for my change, but the waiter didn't come back. Maria saw my puzzled expression and told me that in this situation, when we say thank you, it is understood that the waiter can take the rest as a tip. Strange, but now everything was clear. Maria took her hat and we continued exploring Katowice. I have the impression that many surprises still await me here. And I'm not talking only about beautiful ornate tenement houses or post-industrial monuments, but I'm ready for this adventure.
Dear viewers, that was my last guest during the USIL Career Day 2025, second edition of the event for foreign researchers and academics, providing information for all interested in work in Poland and at the University of Silesia in Katowice. I hope we have provided precious information for you. However, if you have any questions and any doubts, I would like to invite you to go to the USIL Career Day 2025 website. You will find the link in the description below this recording. I would also like to invite you to check the Welcome Point website, as well as the website of the University of Silesia in Katowice and our current job offers and open call announcements. You never know, maybe your dream job offer is already waiting for you there, and the website is regularly updated with the new open calls and offers of work at the University of Silesia in Katowice. I hope we have proved that University of Silesia is a good place of work and also a good place to pursue your career and your scientific passion, and that many interesting scientific projects are being realized at our university. Thank you again for joining us, and see you in future, maybe in person. This online meeting, USIL Career 2025, was organized as a part of Welcome to Us project, financed by the National Agency of Academic Exchange, as a part of the Welcome to Poland 2025 program. Thank you again for being with us today.